Hey guys, for our topic of cryptography, we're going to show you how to crack a router that uses a WPA2 network key using Kali and Pyrit. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it and give a little information about what's going on behind the scenes, how Pyrit works, and just a little bit more information so you can get better acquainted with using these tools. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I went ahead and opened up a terminal, typed airmon ng, and that's going to display the wireless adapters that are currently connected to the computer. After that, I'm going to type in airmon ng start WLAN1, and what that's going to do is put my second Wi-Fi adapter into monitor mode. Whichever adapter you're going to use, whether it's WLAN1 or 0 or 3, you just insert that into that command. After that, I typed in airmon ng one more time just to make sure that it went successfully into monitor mode. After that, I typed in aerodump WLAN1 mon. That's the chipset. Now that it's in monitor mode, it's going to display access points around me and traffic that it's intercepting. I'm going to use BillY the science phi. That's actually my router, and once we do that, we get a little more information about the access point, including the channel and the BSSID. We're going to use that in conjunction with aerodump to target our aerodump to intercept traffic specifically from that access point. And we're going to use that to hopefully intercept a WPA handshake. Alright, so now that that's done, this is actually the traffic that I am intercepting from that access point. Normally, you can just wait for a computer to connect to that access point, and at that point you might intercept the WPA handshake, but if you want to speed things along, you can actually use AirPlay. You're going to use the ESSID, which is BillY the science phi in this case, a deauth command, the BSSID, and the chipset that you're using. What this is going to do is it's going to kick off people that are on that network so that their computer reconnects to the network, and hopefully we'll see a WPA handshake coming out of that. Alright, so as you can see, I had a little bit of a syntax error there. The deauth does require 2 dashes, but you can see that it went through and I ended up with the handshake. Once I have that handshake, I go ahead and get rid of the other terminal, and the aerodump with Control C, and then I'm going to use Pyrit to analyze the captured handshake. After that, I'm going to use Pyrit to create an ESSID file that's used by Pyrit. That's Pyrit-E, and then the name of the network, which is BillY the science phi, and then create underscore ESSID. I've done this before, so it's going to say it was already created, but chances are it won't say that for you. Alright, so turning a little away from the network, we're going to import a dictionary to Pyrit. The one I'm using actually comes with Kali. It's called rocku.txt. Not really sure where they were going with that, but what this is going to do is add passwords that are stored in the dictionary to Pyrite's ongoing database of passwords. It doesn't count, if you're using multiple dictionaries, it doesn't count duplicate passwords. So when you add it to Pyrite, only unique passwords will be added. Alright, so with that Pyrite eval command, that's just going to give you an overview of how many passwords have been stored within Pyrite. If you're starting with a brand new Kali, it's going to start out with next to no passwords, but as you add dictionaries, that's going to grow exponentially. Alright, so that Pyrite batch command is one of the more important commands because that's what actually takes the imported passwords from the dictionary file and translates it into respective pairwise master keys, and that's what it actually uses to cross-reference with the handshake we captured to figure out what the WPA2 key, network key, is. Now this usually takes a pretty long time. I'm going to fast forward in a second, but just an interesting note. I recently just figured out how to use my GPU to process the PMKs, and so it actually goes a lot faster than it used to. It would go through about 300 PMKs a second before, and now it goes about somewhere between 40 to 50,000 PMKs a second. So pretty significant increase there. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to run Pyrite eval one more time just to get another quick overview. The Pyrite batch command is what takes the most time translating those PMKs, but this next command is the final command where I take the ESSID, the captured handshake file, and I use the database of the translated PMKs, and it cross-references the handshake, and will actually, hopefully, if we're lucky, output the key to the network.